All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. The Just Two Idiots Cup Series. Welcome back. The season opener of our Sprint Series, sponsored by Loop Communications, provider of fully managed hosted voice services for businesses with no contract and no angst. Check them out. Link will be in the description. As always, I'm your host, James East, with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Breathe the action, 1080p, 60 frames a second, as it looks like it's going to be a rainy start here and our first Super Formula Light race of the season. Let's go ahead and run through the packed grid for today's starting order. On pole, it's Squilliam, the number 6 machine. Simply Steve starting second. Prince Adam starting third. We've got my friend Urko starting fourth. Captain CK starting fifth. Spooked Up starting sixth. Jaden Hop starting seventh. Nodovan starting eighth. Eat My Dust starting ninth. Sector starting 10th. Joe Albanese starting 11th. Wire Ghost starting 12th. Cycle It On Back. DC starting 13th. Joshua Spear starts 14th. Garlic Dog starting 15th. Nicolator starting 16th. Biker Pilot starting 17th. Sneezy Jr. starting 18th. Bozak starting 19th. Cat Daddy starting 20th. We've got James McKinney starting 21st. Dutch starting 22nd. Just Dylan starting 23rd. And Crew will round out the 24-car grid. No, I spoke too soon. Two more. We've got Dickinson starting 25th. And 976 starting 26th. 25th, it looks like. No, 26th. And we are underway. The season opener. It's a rainy start here at the Nürburgring. My goodness, what a rainy start. Visibility is going to be poor for these drivers, as Simply Steve tiptoes into turn one, pushes a little bit wide there, hard on the brakes. That's allowing Squilliam to close the gap behind. Now, further back, we had some off-tracks reported. DC is going to have some sort of issue, as well as Cat Daddy in the number 78. But it is going to be a night of tiptoeing around here, I think. We have our sprint race to fire things off. 20 laps or 20 minutes, whatever comes first. I'll give you a hint. I think it's going to be the minutes. Excuse me, here we go. Battle for the lead. Simply Steve putting the pressure on Squilliam here. They've already built up about an 8/10 breakaway from Captain CK sitting in third. CK's chased by Prince Adam and Eat My Dust, who round out the top five. And I've got to say, not only is it the season opener here, the J2ICS Sprint Series, this is also the first rain race that I've ever covered up here in the broadcast booth. Prince Adam's going to have an off-track excursion, and then the field's going to stack up in behind. Looks like a few drivers tied up in that one. Wire Ghost also with an off-track excursion. Bozak in the 906 going off, following Prince Adam up front. And it's a side-by-side race for the lead. Simply Steve, Squilliam are going to be side-by-side. Simply Steve comes out on top there, the number 23 machine. Squilliam's going to be playing second fiddle in the number 6. Let me see if I can get an onboard here. As we are once again side by side. Steve taking back over the top spot. On board. No, it's going to be Squilliam comes out on top. On board with Steve. Look and see. The visibility doesn't look too terrible here. And it's going to once again be a drag race. We had another incident reported. Oh, there's cones flying everywhere here at the Nürburgring. There's Prince Adam. He's had a bit of a rough night here. Sector is going to come down pit road, the number 95, as we continue battling side by side for the race lead here, the season opener. It's Squilliam and Simply Steve side by side. You can see Captain CK. He's moved up to that final podium spot, but he's about 1.3 seconds back from the battle for the lead. It's a season opener. It's a new car, and it is treacherous conditions here tonight. So very impressed and honestly a little bit surprised to see how good the racing is for the lead. Historically, what I would see in rain races, in my experience, is drivers would kind of get spread out a little bit, tiptoe around the circuit. Well, Captain CK is going to find himself way off in the weeds there, the number 50, so he will crash out of podium contention. DC, and it looks like I think that may have been... No, it's not CK. That's Crew who might have lawn darted himself in there. Looks like the front wing is gone, so Crew's going to have to really fight with it. Hopefully he can limp it around the track, come down pit road, and get another wing put on. Joshua Spears tucked in behind Eat My Dust. That's going to be the battle for 8th. Other two close drivers you have out on track is going to be Sneezy Jr. and Biker Pilot, going to have a bit of a throwdown there in the fight for 11th. So about 4 or 5 different good races going on across the circuit here right now. As we keep an eye out on that timer, the top left of your screen. Eat My Dust has a big run here. But man, he can't see much behind the water spray of Joe Albanese and the O2 machine. Albanese jumping across the curbing there. Eat My Dust seems like he might have missed the downshift. And it's going to lose about 0.6 of a second. Squilliam up front sets the fastest lap of the race. A 2:06.77, which is cooking here in the rain. But Simply Steve doing a good job staying right there with him, not letting Squilliam get too much of a breakaway. Something has happened to Urko. He is way off track and going the wrong way. Joe Albanese also had an incident. That's going to put him within striking distance as Eat My Dust has made his way around that O2 machine. Now Joshua Spears in the bright green 84. He's going to try and get a piece of this action. This is very much becoming a race of attrition for a majority of the field here tonight. Dutch and Bozak going to go side by side here for 16th. Bozak the 906, the right-hand side of the screen. Looks like Dutch is going to lift a little bit early to tuck in behind, but look at the front-end shimmy of Bozak the 906 there. Trying to maximize the amount of traction while braking is very tough. If you're a little bit too hard on the brakes, it's very quickly a quick way to push that front end and cause a bit of excitement. Urko and Sneezy going to go side by side for 10th. Urko's had a bit of a roller coaster of a night with that incident. He's currently showing down about 7 positions from where he started. Urko and Sneezy still battling here just ahead of them. That's Joe Albanese. Joshua Spears also going side by side. Spears always easy to spot in the lime green and black, but Joe Albanese also easy to find out here. The teal and black O2 machine. Now your race leader, Squilliam, set another fast lap of the race, has managed to get a bit of a breakaway. 1.6 seconds up over Simply Steve. You've got Nodovan in the top 3rd spot with Spook Dubs and Jaden Hop running out the top 5. Going a little bit further back. Looks like Sector was briefly reeling in Nicolator, but Nicolator gets back on the throttle, and a little bit further back from them, you've got Cat Daddy and Dutch linked up nose to tail, 16th and 17th. James McKinney's going to come down pit road for a green flag stop, trying to get some repairs fixed on that number 16. Let's see, Dutch trying to get a big run against Cat Daddy. He's also got DC closing in fast behind that number 3 machine. I think they're about to be coming up on a crash. I saw Sneezy Jr. with some sort of off track there, and I think Joshua Spears might have had an incident as well. DC and Cat Daddy going to go side by side for 16th. You can definitely tell which of the drivers are more comfortable in these low traction conditions, willing to get on the throttle a little bit more aggressively and try and make some moves. And it's a bit of a cat and mouse game during the rain as well. As, oh no, there's Garlic Dog getting back out on track. He's going to rejoin in about the 14th place position. That's Sneezy Jr. ahead of him. Sneezy's trying to keep the throttle down as he's tucked in behind Joshua Spears. So it's definitely been a night so far of solo incidents for these drivers. Less car-on-car contact than we would maybe see in a dry event. Bozak's going to move up into 14th, getting around Garlic Dog's 199. I'm also curious to see what the weather is going to do between the sprint race and the feature event we have here tonight. Let's see if we get some sunshine starting to peek through, or if it's going to remain a bit of a drizzly day here at the Nürburgring. Sector keeping the throttle on. He's tucked in behind Biker Pilot's number 42. Machine's going to take a peek to the inside line here. Hard on the brakes goes Sector. Oh no, Biker pushes wide. No, was that Crew, I wonder? Yeah, that was Crew that pushed wide there. As Sector was hard on the binders. Might have gotten a little bit spooked. Was maybe trying to give way for the drivers in the lead lap. But unfortunately, Crew is going to take a tow back to pit road. Also very impressed to see 26 drivers coming out here tonight. They had 20 drivers show up for the Tuesday night practice. A bit of a record here for J2ICS. So the drivers definitely excited about the new car combo. As Sneezy was looking for any opportunity he could against Biker Pilot. Not able to find his way around here. Squilliam gets down to a 202.6. Now, in the Tuesday practice, Squilliam got down to a high 2 minute 1 second. It was a 201.916. So he's about 7/10 off his fastest lap of the race. And one thing that's not given to us in these race notes was how the track conditions were for that Tuesday practice. So I'm curious. I'd imagine that's still going to be a wet time with a 201.9. But I'm curious to see if Squilliam can get down to that through this sprint. As Sneezy keeps the pressure on Biker Pilot, not too far ahead of them. Nicolator, he's putting in work against Joshua Spears for that top 10 position. Let's see, Sneezy seems to be stayed tucked in there. I can see Bozak in the background trying to close the distance as well. Great racing all across the field here tonight. The Loop Communications back J2ICS Sprint Series. So while Biker Pilot and Sneezy Jr. have been battling for 12th, here comes Bozak, the 906, to interject himself into the party. And it looks like they're starting to hint at catching up to 11th place driver Nicolator. Captain CK is going to take a tow back to pit road. He's going to retire from this sprint, leaving what looks to be 20 drivers of our 26 entries out on track. As the rain continues to fall here, Squilliam a 202.36, getting faster than that record-breaking practice time he did on Tuesday. Oh, and a big moment there for Sneezy, able to collect himself and catch the slide, but that was almost a very exciting moment for the number 29. He's going to lose his spot to Bozak in the 906. Prince Adam looking for some redemption here. He's tucked in behind Cat Daddy in the 78. Cat Daddy goes around and tags the wall there. Might have been some contact between the 777 of Prince Adam and the 78 of Cat Daddy. So as it stands, your top 5 fairly spread out here. Joshua Spears with an off-track excursion in the rain. Prince Adam comes back down pit road. I wonder if he might have lost a wing. That'd be a good sign if there was car contact. Looks like all the pieces are there. And I think Adam just served a drive-through penalty before he returns back out onto the circuit. Biker Pilot and Bozak once again linked up here for 12th. Bozak's going to be on the inside line, the blue and yellow. He's going to hold on here to the 12th place spot as Biker Pilot's tucked in behind. Sneezy Jr. behind the number 29, looking for a little bit of redemption after catching that big slide. And once again, we were hinting at some side-by-side shenanigans before drivers tucked back in single file to navigate the corners. And just like that, Bozak and Pilot going side-by-side. That's allowed Sneezy to close the gap here. And I also see DC in the background, that number 3 machine closing the distance. With just over 5 minutes left to go, it's Squilliam, Steve, Nodovan, 1, 2, 3, Spook Dubs, and Jayton Hop rounding out the top 5. And right now you're watching a 3-car battle for 13th. You've got Biker Pilot, Sneezy Jr., and DC all nose to tail. And they're trying to track down Bozak, who's just about a second ahead here, sitting in 12th. There's Bozak, the 906, the blue and yellow. Cameras focused in on Biker Pilot, the number 42, the green and black, who's got Sneezy Jr. and DC starting to close the distance behind. They've got less than 5 minutes left to go in this opening sprint of the season to kind of sort this thing out here. Looks like Pilot and Sneezy were able to shake off DC just a little bit. But DC makes a ton of ground up there into the first corner. Here comes Sneezy with a big run. Side by side with Biker Pilot defending the inside line. DC is going to try and get his nose into the party. Now they're going to lose time here to Bozak battling, but I don't think they're too worried about it. They're here to have a good time at the J2ICS Sprint Series. Let's see, does Sneezy take another shot here at Biker Pilot? Now, while this is going on, I see that Bozak is slowly closing the gap to the number 5 of Nicolator, who sits at 11, so that may be a battle that starts to unfold, but we're going to keep the camera planted on Sneezy Jr., who is trying everything he can to get something happening against Biker Pilot. Now, it looks like DC's backed off of it very slightly here. Oh, as something has happened to the 5th place driver, Jayton Hop, with a hard hit into the wall right at the start-finish line. Jayton looking for a safe place to rejoin. Is going to fall out of the top 5. Eat My Dust moves up into 5th. A little bit too much liberal application of the throttle, and unfortunately, Jayton Hop is going to have to take a tow back to pit road. I'm very impressed with DC's driving here tonight, the number 3. Seems like every time I kind of count him out of this battle, this 2-car battle for 12th, he immediately closes the gap back up and interjects himself, and this is where he's been very strong, is into the first corner. Now, we got the report that Bozak did complete the pass against Nicolator. I think Nicolator might be running a Jägermeister-backed race car this go-around, the number 5, the bright orange. And now he's going to have somebody in front of him here, kind of blocking the vision a little bit. Here's the 3-car battle for 12th that's still trying to work itself into a frenzy. We got to report that Sector running 7th has a big off track and was able to safely rejoin. Let's see, does DC do anything here against Sneezy, or is he going to be content following along for a little while longer? Squilliam, your race leader, might be on the white flag, but Bozak with an off-track excursion. Looks like the car is okay here, though, but Bozak's going to fall back to 14th. Spook Dubs moves up into 3rd after Nodovan has a moment. So the number 58 machine now in podium contention. Squilliam and Simply Steve still running 1st and 2nd. Nodovan relegated back to 4th. Eat My Dust now sitting 5th. And I believe Squilliam will be taking the checker this time by. Sneezy finally able to make something happen against Biker Pilot. And Biker has his eyes forward, but he needs to be mindful. DC still tucked in right behind, looking for a strong start to the season here. DC hops out of the draft momentarily. But man, your race leader Squilliam just in a league of his own. He is a minute and 9 seconds ahead of this battle for 12th. DC makes that pass nice and clean against Biker Pilot. Moving that number 3 machine up into 12th. Now, Pilot's not having a bad night. He's up 4 spots from where he qualified. Hard Chargers out on track are going to be Sneezy Jr. and 976. Both drivers are up 7 positions, but put your hands together. Squilliam picks up the win here, the opening sprint race of the Loop Communications J2ICS Sprint Series, and does so in commanding fashion. Simply Steve will get 2nd. And I believe, barring some bit of misfortune here, it's going to be Spook Dubs rounding out the top 3. Still have racing going on across the track, though. Prince Adam and Bozak side by side for 14th. Let's see, does Bozak have anything left in the tank? About a quarter of a lap left to go for these drivers. As it looks like Adam's going to get that breakaway that he was looking for. Sneezy was trying to put the power down against against Nicolator at the line. Will miss out on it. Unfortunately, Joshua Spears is going to throw it away at the end and have to back across the start-finish line. Hey, he's going to get some style points for that one, even though he's going to lose a couple spots. Tip of the hat there to Joshua Spears. Able to make that happen, and an absolute fantastic 180, missing the rear wing. Front wing, I guess. I guess if we're going in reverse, then it's the rear wing at that point. But what a great start to the season. And still the racing continues. Cat Daddy and Dutch having a battle for 17th. It's going to be down to the wire. Does Dutch have anything left in the back pocket? Shoots to the inside at the start-finish line. It's going to be a drag race. Side by side we go. Cat Daddy showing ahead. Who's going to be at the line? Oh, I show Dutch on live timing by 1,000th of a second. So we get the officially unofficial results pulled up with Squilliam in that top spot, Simply Steve in 2nd, and Spook Dubs round out the top 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more J2ICS racing with the feature event. All right, race fans, welcome back. It's time to send them back out on circuit for the feature event here. Well, let's see how this one's going to go and see who makes it out for the feature. The sprint race had great racing all across the field. It had some backwards finishes. It had some big crashes. And now it's time to see how things are going to shake themselves out here. The J2ICS Sprint Series, sponsored by Loop Communications. Waiting for Squilliam, that number 6 machine, to take the stage. And then we will get them fired up and going here. Looks like it's going to be an inverted grid, I believe. So we will wait for the lights to go on. The engines rev. And we are underway for today's feature event. Somebody got a slow start up front as the field's going to barrel together. Sector with a good, clean breakaway there. And, oh, this could be a bit of a meat grinder into turn 1, and it's going to be. Nodovan tied up with a huge moment there. The field's going to come barreling in. Nodovan's in a precarious position as everybody's skating around here looking for some opening. Sneezy Jr. right in the meat grinder here as he's running 12th in the number 29. Right behind him, that's Bozak, Spears, Captain CKs. I hear somebody sliding around. Sneezy able to hold on to it, the number 29, but this is a dicey moment to be in. Your sprint race winner, Squilliam's also in the fray here. Eat My Dust is going to go off track, missing the corner. And no, around goes Simply Steve. He's in a precarious spot here, trying to tiptoe it off the track. So Simply Steve, Squilliam, both tied up in that one. Who else is there? I see Dutch, Eat My Dust. So it is going to be an uphill battle for some of the race winners. Spook Dubs going with a big off track. I saw Wire Ghost careening in the background there. Wire Ghost takes a tow back to pit road, so we're going to lose a whole lot of drivers early on. Biker Pilot, he's got incidents. Oh my goodness, with the rejoin. Got to be careful. No, he was out on track, and he gets tagged a little bit. The number 50 of Captain CK, he's looking for a clean spot to get back out on track. Not able to find it. Joe Albanese running in 4th. He's side by side with Prince Adam. Adam looking for some redemption. He fires up into the 4th place spot in the 777. Albanese is getting a face full of splash from the back of Prince Adam. Nicolator takes an alternative line there off track. My goodness, what good fun this is. The J2ICS Sprint Series. Definitely action-packed in the feature event. It's 40 laps or 40 minutes, so we're going to be using that time in the top left-hand corner of the screen here. And another off-track reported. I couldn't tell if that was DC. I think it was the number 3. Things are coming at us fast here at Nürburgring. Getting a report, Spook Dubs. I can't. There we go. Had a big moment. You can see the front wing is missing from that number 58. So things are continuously changing up here in the top 5. Sneezy finds himself pointing the wrong way around. He's going to pull off to his right here and try and rejoin safely. Here we go. Nicolator and DC having a battle for 5th. Nicolator showing up 11 spots from where he started. DC is going to fight back, though, taking over the top 5 spot. Joshua Spears in tow. The green and black 84. Sector, your race leader, is going to have his own fair share of moments, so that's going to put Urko up into the race lead. Prince Adam now taking over 2nd. Here comes Joe Albanese looking to squeeze up into a podium spot here. So Urko showing 4 seconds up over the rest of the field here. Urko was fast in the Tuesday night practice. He got down to a 202.451, so he's looking for a little bit of redemption here. Didn't have the sprint showing that he was looking for. Bozak and Squilliam side by side. Urko gets the first timed official lap of the day with no off tracks. I'm curious to see if these drivers can get in some sort of groove here. Squilliam, I didn't realize, has already battled his way back up to 6. Keep an eye on that number 6 machine. One of the fastest drivers we had in practice. As, oh no, Urko going the wrong way on the standings here after a moment. And he's going to get relegated back to 8th. I was just so excited to see Urko back up in the race lead, but the rain and a new car is going to be treacherous for a whole lot of drivers. So that's going to give Prince Adam the race lead, the 777. Now, don't forget the J2ICS runs sprints and endurance races on alternative Wednesdays. So this coming week, we'll have our GTE drivers out on track for the endurance series. As it looks like the rain is starting to lessen here at the Nürburgring. I'll be curious to see in a 40-minute race if it's going to be worth the time for anybody to change tires, or if everybody's going to remain out on wets, depending on what the track conditions can do. The rain on iRacing and these Super Formula Lights, a little bit of more excitement added to an already exciting series. And man, I think that was simply Steve just getting, once again, a face full of overspray off the back of Eat My Dust. Squilliam still sitting in 6th here. Getting chased by Eat My Dust, the number 24 machine. It looks to me that Squilliam is missing the front wing of that race car. You can see the little bit of shimmy there on the front end. And yes, Squilliam's going to come down pit road. And he's going to try and get a new wing put on. Now up in 2nd place, Joe Albany has just clicked off the fastest lap of the race. The Squilliam is down pit road. I think I saw Joshua Spears coming down pit road as Prince Adam has an off-track excursion. So now one of the drivers to watch here is going to be simply Steve, sitting in 7th. Captain CK also with a purple lap time, a 207.72. Will give him the fastest lap of the race. So Prince Adam once again enjoying the limelight up front. We did get a report that crew took a tow down pit road in the 737. Bozak and Nicolator going to put on a show here for 3rd. Nicolator trying to work that inside line. Bozak able to carry just a little bit more corner speed. Keep an eye out. There's Urko in the 33, just in the right side of your screen. We know Urko has the pace to run up front, just has to string the laps together. On board with Urko, the number 33, sitting in 5th. Showing just how great the visibility is. Urko hops out of line to make sure he can see his reference marks. As it looked like Bozak ahead was pushing a little bit wide there. But Nicolator wasn't quite able to strike. So you're watching a 3-car battle for 3rd. Bozak, Nicolator, and Urko. all doing battle here. Urko keeping the pressure up on Nicolator. That's allowed Bozak to pull away a little bit in the 906 machine. And the rain keeps kind of hinting if it's going to go away or if it's going to continue drizzling here. It looks like it's raining on about part of the track. On other portions of the track, looks like it's starting to clear up a little bit. Oh no, and Urko's going to lawn dart it there. I've got to say, that's probably one of the best liveries I've seen Urko run, the Bong Life Back 33. But he's going to fall all the way back down to 8th at this point. We've got the weather pulled up on the right side of the screen. I admittedly don't know what half the numbers mean, but I know the water drop shows 45%, so it's starting to lower a little bit on the forecast. I want to go back. Garlic Dog and Captain CK having a great battle for 9th. Captain CK's on a bit of a run here. Just set the fastest lap of the race, getting down to the 206s, so drivers starting to get a little bit more comfortable. Starting to get those heat in the tires and get back up into the groove. And up front, things are starting to tighten up a little bit. Prince Adam has a very healthy 4.4 second gap. Let's call it a 4.5 second gap, as Albanese has a huge moment across the start-finish line. That's going to allow Bozak up into second, Nicolator up into third, Eat My Dust moves up into fourth. Just like that, Albanese goes from second to fifth, and he's got company with Simply Steve right behind. And that shows just how quick it can happen here. So Albanese, I think, is going to be trying to drive the wheels off that O2 machine to catch back up to the top 4 drivers. Prince Adam out front is putting in work now, 5.8 seconds up over the rest of the field. Now, we're not quite sure what the pit or fuel strategies are going to be. It's the first time watching our Super Formula Light drivers out on track. I would imagine there's going to be one fuel stop required for him here today. Eat My Dust trying to track down Nicolator. And what has been a great season opener, looks like Joe Albanese is going to have company from Simply Steve. Sector with a big off track is going to go the wrong way on the leaderboard. He's still off track. Looks like, oh no, he might have gotten high centered there, the number 95 machine. He's trying to inch forward. But there's also traffic right ahead. It's painfully slow as he's having to wait. I think he's got the traction down now, so once he has the track... No, he's still stuck! There we go. Sector able to get it fired and moving forward. So Nicolator still has Eat My Dust in hot pursuit. Eat My Dust looking for a podium here in the number 24 machine. Not quite halfway through this feature event. Have another incident reported. This time, unfortunately, it's going to be Garlic Dog. The 199 was running well inside the top 10. Is going to fall back to what looks to be 12th as there goes Nodovan and Urko. Prince Adam's still up front with a healthy 5.5 second gap. I'm interested to see what the pit strategies are going to be here tonight. Looks like Nicolator fighting the traction there. That's going to allow Eat My Dust up into third. Nicolator gets relegated back to fourth. You can see the trail of Bozak up ahead. Also looks like Simply Steve, number 23, starting to close the gap behind these two as well. And that's a typical thing to see happen. Every time drivers start going side by side, battling for position, it slows the pace down ever so slightly. In the case of somebody such as Simply Steve, number 23, gives them an opportunity to close the gap a little bit, get back in the fray. So let's see. Steve has a big run here against Nicolator, dives it up the inside line. Side by side, he goes with Nicolator. The battle for fourth continues. Looks like Steve's going to come out on top here in fourth. Nicolator's going to try and fire back. Keep an eye out. Captain CK sitting back in seventh. As once again, put down a purple lap time, the fastest of the race, a 206.09. William has still sitting in eighth after his issues. Looks like Urko's sitting in 10th. I'll be curious to see if we see some of these drivers that had incidents early on able to crawl back through the field here. Nicolator doing everything he can to fire back against Simply Steve. This is giving Eat My Dust a bit of a breakaway, a bit of a chance to breathe a bit as he's 1.4 seconds up over this battle for fourth. On board with Nicolator. And I just saw a big moment there. Was that Eat My Dust, I think, pointed the wrong direction? Yes, it was. And he's got a cone attached to the front of the number 24 machine. That's not going to be helping the arrow at all here, as he still has the cone. There it goes. Gets spit off at the start-finish line. Eat My Dust falls back to fifth, so now it's going to be Simply Steve and Nicolator. So Simply Steve up into third, Nicolator up into fourth. And something has happened. Prince Adam, the race leader, finds himself off track. He had a 6.6 second gap. He falls back to second. There goes, who's that going to be? Is that Simply Steve? That might be lap traffic, but Simply Steve's tucked in behind. That's Biker Pilot, who's a lap down. So now we've got a battle for second. Prince Adam has lost the race lead. Bozak, the 906, has taken over the top spot. Prince Adam has Simply Steve and Nicolator tucked in behind. And once again, the excitement keeps up here. So Simply Steve all the way back up into third. Other people to watch, Captain CK now up into sixth. Urko running ninth. Squilliam running eighth. So Prince Adam needs to keep his wits underneath him here, not let the red mist take over. Still a very, very wet track here, the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Bozak must have had an issue because now he's got Simply Steve, Prince Adam, Nicolator closing the gap. Adam takes back over the race lead from Bozak. Oh, and it's going to be a busy turn one here, I think. Simply Steve diving in deep. There's Nicolator. Bozak takes back over the race lead as Prince Adam has big issues in turn one. He's going to fall back to fourth, and now here's Eat My Dust pressuring. Eat My Dust, the number 24, sitting inside the top five. We are halfway through today's feature event. Drivers have been displayed the cross, green, and white flags, and it's still anybody's guess who's going to pick up the first feature win of the season. Right now, it's Bozak in the top spot, chased by Simply Steve, Nicolator, Prince Adam, and Eat My Dust, who round out the top five. And these are the five closest drivers we have out on the circuit at this point. Still looks like plenty of rain on the forecast as Bozak tries to hammer down here in the 906, wants to keep Simply Steve at bay. Oh, and I just saw an off-track report. Simply Steve pushed a little bit wide there. Might not have been able to see the reference marks. Now your top two, Bozak and Steve, have built up a 1 second gap over Prince Adam. As it looks like Adam's falling back a little bit slightly here. Adam has about a 1.5 seconds up over Eat My Dust, who still has Nicolator tucked in right behind him here. Past the halfway mark, 18 minutes to go here. The opening round. Captain CK is going to be one of the first drivers down pit road for a green flag stop. We'll keep an eye on the pit time to see how long he's in there for. CK, one of the only drivers down pit road. So Captain CK in and out of his stall in less than 5 seconds. That's going to be just a fuel stop to make it till the end here. So looks like everybody in the top five's yet to box. Squilliam came down pit road, who as he sits in 6th on lap 3, but we believe that was to get a new front wing attached back onto the car. DC's going to come down pit road in the number 3 machine. And things are still tight up front. Simply Steve starting to reel in Bozak here for the race lead. 7/10 off the rear wing of the 906. Prince Adam has caught back up as well. He's within 7/10 of the top 2 drivers. DC rolls out of pit road after 21 seconds. So he should have enough fuel to make it till the end. Adam closing up here in the top 3. It's a very low visibility start-finish line. As you can see, the rain still pouring in into turn 1. You know, this is going to be interesting as well. If part of the track starts to dry out, drivers are all running rains right now. I can't imagine anybody would be on dry tires, not willing to risk it. Joe Albanese down pit road. But if part of the track starts to really dry out, drivers running these wet rain tires will look for any wet lines or puddles they can find to keep the tires from overheating. Now, I think with the majority of the track being very properly wet, that's not going to be too much of an issue, as Simply Steve has a big run here against Bozak. Looks like he might try and stick the nose in. Tucks in behind Bozak here in the 906. Prince Adam sitting in third. The fluorescent pink and white number 777 is going to be hoping these top two drivers keep battling hard, slowing the pace down slightly and allowing himself into the mix. Once again, Steve hops out of line here, disappears in the overspray off the back of Bozak. Nicolator sitting in fifth. He has an off-track excursion and looks to be parked there for a minute as he tries to get things pointing the right direction. There goes Squilliam. He's going to take over the fifth place spot. Looks like Urko's going to move up into sixth as well. We're waiting to see when some of these top five drivers come down pit road. Bozak has a bit of a big moment there, able to catch the tank slapper. Cruz coming down pit road. Bozak and Simply Steve staying out a little while longer here. Prince Adam, the 777, he's down pit road for his one scheduled stop. Simply Steve makes the pass into turn one. Bozak now playing second fiddle in the 906. Prince Adam rolling out of pit road. He spent 4.6 seconds in his stall, about 27.3 seconds total on pit road. Nicolator also coming down pit road, the number 5. And after a stop, Prince Adam getting back around his teammate, Squilliam. Now, we think Squilliam's still going to have to pit here. He came in on lap 3. I can't imagine that's going to be enough fuel to make it till the end here. Garlic Dog rolling down pit road as we watch the two teammates, Prince Adam and Squilliam, battling for the 4th place position. Unfortunately, Cat Daddy has taken a tow back to pit road after a big off-track excursion, so hopefully we can see him get back on the circuit, the number 78. As it shows right now, we have 19 drivers rolling around. We only had 22 of the 26 original entries start this feature event. Simply Steve, still your race leader, the number 23. He has yet to box here. Lap time's definitely looking a little bit slower than we saw in the sprint. Unfortunately, DC is going to join the list of drivers taking a tow back to pit road. Simply Steve's built up a 1.6 second gap over Bozak. Just set his fastest lap of the race with a 2:05.5. 2 seconds faster than Bozak was able to click off in second. Simply Steve, Bozak, Eat My Dust, your top 3 all have yet to box here. So on the pit road screen on the bottom of your screen, you can see DC and Cat Daddy are going to take extended stays after that tow, as things are a little bit spread out inside the top 4. If we pan back to Squilliam, he's still tucked in behind his teammate Prince Adam, the 777, who's running 4th. These are some of the closest drivers we have out on track. That and Joshua Spears and Jaden Hopp battling for 12th. There's Spears in the number 84, Hopp in the 00. Crossing the start-finish line now. Looks like DC is going to return back out on track here. Oh, and something has happened to Prince Adam. He's wide. And that's going to allow Squilliam. Oh, my goodness. Urko almost gets collected there. So Urko in the 33 is going to move back up into a top 5 position. And who did I just hear? I heard tires screaming in protest. I'm not quite sure where that was. I'm curious to see when Simply Steve's going to come down pit road. He stays out for another lap here. Crew is down pit road to try and get some repairs done on that machine. He took a tow after a little bit of an incident. So Steve running nice and clean here. 2.8 seconds up over Bozak. Less than 10 minutes left to go in this feature event. Bozak sitting in second, still about 3 seconds off the back of Simply Steve. Eat My Dust sitting in the final podium spot of third. Squilliam and Urko round out the top 5. But we're fairly certain that your top 3 still have to box. Simply Steve, Bozak, and Eat My Dust have yet to pit here at all. Vector's down pit road for his one scheduled stop. And these Super Formula Lights, less than 5 seconds in and out of the pit stall when they're double sending the tires. Nobody has reason to swap tires here. Everybody's going to remain on the wets. As even if the sun magically pops out and there's no more rain, I don't think this track is going to dry in time. Neasy Jr., he's down pit road, the number 29. Oh, a big moment there for Simply Steve, able to hold on to it. And Simply Steve stays out for another lap. Looks like Bozak will do the same. As well as Eat My Dust sitting in third. Now, it looks like Urko is going to have a little bit of company here in the top 5 spot. Prince Adam is closing the gap behind him in the 777. Urko piloting that Bog Life Motorsports back number 33 machine. The top 5 fairly spread out at this point. Urko and Prince Adam, 2 of the closest drivers we have out on track. Unfortunately, Prince Adam is going to have a big moment there. That is going to give a massive advantage to Urko. Urko was up front at one point in the 33 machine. But I'm very curious about the fuel numbers these drivers are going to be able to get. The first race of the season here, the J2ICS Sprint Series, sponsored by Loop Communications. A lot of unknown variables, and then on top of being a new car with this series, the rain on the opening round really throwing a curveball into the plans of most of these drivers. Where tire wear is not going to really be the biggest factor I think we see here. It's going to be mostly about track management and maybe fuel management. 6 minutes left to go. The question is, can Simply Steve make it on that original set of, or that original tank of fuel? We're on board with Simply Steve here. Let's listen to see if there's any fuel saving at play. No, question answered. Simply Steve comes down pit road. So Simply Steve is going to box. Bozak follows suit. What about Eat My Dust? He's down pit road. So now the question is, does Squilliam and Urko somehow have enough fuel to make it till the end here? Or are they going to need to pit as well? It's a busy pit road with Simply Steve, Bozak, Eat My Dust, all down there together. Squilliam's going to stay out for another lap. There's Urko in the background. Now this is going to be interesting. Simply Steve showing as your race leader. Bozak comes out on track in third. Urko sitting fourth. Now, Squilliam came down pit road on lap 3 to get some damages repaired. Topped off the fuel while he was there. Is that 3 laps going to be enough to get him till the end here? Urko's leapfrogged back up the standings up into fourth. He came down pit road on lap 5. So I think Urko might be good on fuel, but I'm not sure about Squilliam. Urko starting to close the gap here to Bozak in the battle for third. He's about 8/10 off the gearbox of that 906 machine. Bozak's been having a great race here in the feature. I can also see Eat My Dust in the background, the number 24. So once again, things starting to spread out here a little bit in the top 5. 3.5 minutes left to go. And the feature event of the season opener. Right now, it's Simply Steve, Squilliam, and Bozak, your top 3. Urko and Eat My Dust rounding out the top 5 here. Bozak showing up 16 positions from where he started. As I just heard a noise, oh my goodness, it's Squilliam on the start-finish line. Loses the back end, crashes there. So Simply Steve's going to hold on to the race lead. Bozak now up into second. That's going to put Urko into third. Eat My Dust fourth. Is Squilliam now showing fifth? No, it's going to be Prince Adam in fifth. Was not expecting that in the remaining few minutes here, the J2ICS Sprint Series. So Simply Steve, this is right now his race to lose. He's 8 seconds up over Bozak. Bozak has Urko 1.2 off his tail, but Urko has Eat My Dust closing the gap within 3/4 of a second. You can see the bright yellow number 24 in the background. So this is about to get pretty exciting. Urko trying to hammer down, catching up to Bozak. And who did I just see crash? That was Joshua Spears, number 84, off track. Simply Steve out front. I believe the white flag is going to come out here for Simply Steve. Let's see if we can spot it. Wasn't able to see the white flag, but I'm fairly certain it's flying here. So as it stands, we think this is going to be the final lap. It's Simply Steve with a country mile advantage. He's 7 seconds up over Bozak. who sits in second. Urko sitting in third with Eat My Dust in very hot pursuit here. Bozak doing everything he can to hold on to that second place position. He knows Urko and Eat My Dust are looking for any advantage they can find here. As we get ready to unfurl the checkered flag at the start-finish line. As we have hit the timer here, the J2ICS opening feature event. It was a 40-minute main, and Urko, I saw, had Eaten My Dust closing in hot pursuit, but Bozak's going to go off track. Bozak throws it away on the final lap. That's going to put Urko up into second. Eat My Dust now sitting in third. There's lap traffic ahead. Racer seeing the blue flag, hopping out of the way because there's a battle for second underfoot here. It's Urko versus Eat My Dust. Behind them, Bozak, Squilliam, and Prince Adam having a three-car battle for fourth. Oh, there's action everywhere we look here. Going back up front. Whoa, my goodness. Eat My Dust catches a huge slide. What a save from the number 24 machine. Checkered flag is officially out. Put your hands together for Simply Steve with a dominant win here tonight. Urko will bring it home in second. Eat My Dust in third. And let's see how the rest of the field sorts itself out. Squilliam and Bozak side by side. Squilliam's going to squeeze up into fourth at the line. Bozak must have had a slowdown. Captain CK will lock up the top five. Bozak in sixth. And it looks like Prince Adam will round out the top seven. A little bit further back, Joe Albanese, Nicolator, and Sector are having a three-car battle just inside the top 10. In typical J2ICS fashion, it always comes down right to the wire. Oh, as I say that, everybody's crashing here. Sector is going to sneak through and take ninth as Joe Albanese and Nicolator go for an absolute wild ride there at the line. And again, somebody finishing backwards here. A great race to start the season with Simply Steve taking up the top spot. Urko getting his redemption tour was second, and Eat My Dust rounding out the top three. On behalf of the J2ICS.com Racing Series, my name has been James Eastwood, Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for tuning in and supporting the show, and I'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.